For centuries, fear of divine punishment has loomed over humanity, carving its presence into temples, scriptures, and the inner chambers of the human soul. What if that fear was entirely unnecessary? What if the gods, far from being wrathful overseers of morality, are actually indifferent, living in serene detachment, untouched by human affairs? What if religion's greatest power over us, fear, could be shattered, not by blasphemy but by reason? This was the radical claim made by Epicurus over 2,000 years ago. In an age dominated by superstition, omens, and appeasement of angry deities, Epicurus offered a bold alternative. A universe governed not by divine will, but by natural laws, and a path to peace of mind built on understanding, not fear. Welcome to the Unfolding Journey, the channel where we explore the philosophies, paradoxes, and timeless ideas that continue to shape our inner and outer lives. From ancient thinkers to modern questions, we're here to uncover wisdom that helps you live more thoughtfully and more freely. Today, we're unpacking a revolutionary idea from Epicurus: how to free yourself from the fear of the gods, not through denial, but through knowledge. His natural philosophy isn't just a critique of religion. It's a blueprint for psychological freedom. Let's step into the garden of Epicurus and leave our fear at the gate. In the ancient world, the gods were everywhere. They weren't just abstract beings in the sky. They controlled rain, crops, illness, victory in war, and even personal misfortunes. A failed harvest wasn't just bad luck, it was divine punishment. An earthquake? The wrath of Poseidon. A plague? The anger of Apollo. And this constant fear had consequences. People made sacrifices, sometimes of animals, sometimes of humans. Oracles, priests, and rituals became political tools. Guilt and anxiety filled the minds of those who believed they had displeased unseen forces. Epicurus saw this fear of divine punishment as one of the greatest threats to human happiness. It was irrational, manipulative, and destructive. And unlike other philosophers of his time, he didn't try to justify or reinterpret the gods. He redefined them entirely. Epicurus didn't deny the existence of gods. He wasn't an atheist in the modern sense. But he reimagined them radically. According to him, the gods exist, but they are immortal and blessed, living in complete tranquility, far removed from human affairs. In other words, the gods are not concerned with punishing us, rewarding us, or managing the universe. They live in a perfect state of ataraxia, serene peace, and have no reason to interfere with us. If they did, they wouldn't be gods, because true divinity means being untroubled. Epicurus believed that imagining the gods as angry, jealous, or vengeful was projecting human emotions onto divine beings. And in doing so, we created gods in our image, full of flaws and passions, not the other way around. This Epicurean redefinition of divinity shattered the foundation of religious fear. So how did Epicurus replace the fear of divine wrath? With natural philosophy, a rational explanation of the universe that removed the need for divine intervention. Together with his follower Lucretius, who later wrote De Rerum Natura, on the nature of things, Epicurus promoted an atomistic worldview. Here are the basics. The universe consists of atoms and void, matter and space. Everything, including the soul, is made of atoms. The soul disintegrates after death. There is no afterlife. Natural phenomena, thunder, earthquakes, illness, are caused by physical processes, not divine will. By explaining natural events through cause and effect, Epicurus dismantled the belief that gods controlled everything. Lightning? That's static electricity. Disease? Natural imbalance. The sun? A ball of fire, not a chariot of Helios. This naturalism was more than science, it was therapeutic. It replaced fear with understanding, superstition with reason. At the heart of Epicurus's critique of religion was a single, powerful claim. Death is nothing to us. Why? Because when we are alive, death is not present. And when death arrives, we no longer exist to experience it. There is no consciousness after death, no pain, no punishment, no divine reckoning. This idea was revolutionary. The fear of eternal damnation, of judgment by vengeful gods, was erased in one stroke. If the soul dies with the body, there's no afterlife to fear, and no need for divine morality based on punishment or reward. This doesn't mean Epicurus advocated immorality. Instead, he grounded ethics in pleasure, reason, and social harmony, not supernatural threats. In doing so, he liberated ethics from fear and anchored it in human well-being. Interestingly, Epicurus didn't call for the abolition of religion. Instead, he reinterpreted it. The gods, in his philosophy, could still serve a purpose, not as rulers, but as ethical role models. He described the gods as ideal beings, calm, wise, and eternally content. For Epicurus, contemplating such beings could be inspiring, not terrifying. It reminded us of what human happiness could strive for: tranquility, independence from fear, and inner peace. This approach turns religion from a system of control into a source of philosophical reflection. So while Epicurus dismissed the mythology and superstition of his time, he still saw value in the symbolic image of the gods as a psychological and aspirational model. Epicurus understood that fear, especially irrational fear, was a barrier to happiness, and religion, in its worst form, exploited this fear. His response was a philosophy that was not just intellectual, but deeply emotional and healing. By eliminating the fear of divine punishment, supernatural events, eternal damnation, angry, unpredictable gods, Epicurus offered something truly radical: freedom of mind. His school, known as the Garden, became a sanctuary where philosophy wasn't just about logic, it was about mental health. There, people lived together in simplicity, pursued knowledge, and practiced being unafraid. In that sense, Epicurus was not just a philosopher, he was a psychological liberator. Of course, Epicurus's views were not universally accepted. He was attacked by both religious authorities and rival philosophers. The Stoics believed in divine reason and natural law. The Platonists held on to eternal forms and divine morality. Christian theologians, centuries later, accused Epicureanism of promoting atheism and immorality. Even today, Epicurean is often misused to mean indulgent or godless, when in reality, Epicurus advocated moderation, community, and a deeply ethical life based on reason. His challenge to religious fear remains controversial, but also empowering. In the modern age, Epicurus feels strikingly relevant. We live in a world where fear is still used to control. Fear of hell, fear of karma, fear of divine punishment for breaking moral codes. And yet, we also live in a scientific age, where we can understand the universe through physics, biology, and psychology. Epicurus bridges that gap. He offers a philosophy of peace, grounded in reason, not belief. He tells us that to live well, we must free our minds from fear, especially fear of imaginary threats. Whether you're religious, spiritual, agnostic, or atheist, Epicurus invites us to ask, do your beliefs bring you peace? Are you driven by fear or by understanding? Do you live your life for yourself, or out of fear of punishment? In that sense, Epicurus doesn't just speak to ancient superstitions. He speaks directly to us. Epicurus's critique of religion is not about cynicism. It's not about tearing down faith. It's about liberation. It's about removing the chains of irrational fear so we can live freely, thoughtfully, and joyfully. He invites us to question authority, challenge tradition, and replace fear with philosophical clarity. In doing so, Epicurus offers something deeply humane: a life without fear of gods, and therefore a life with room for peace. Not because the gods are absent, but because they were never angry to begin with. If today's journey into Epicurean philosophy sparked something in you, whether it was a new perspective, a calming insight, or a reason to rethink what you've always believed, then you're in the right place. Pushpin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to The Unfolding Journey, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our explorations into ancient wisdom, modern meaning, and the path to living well. Let's keep unfolding the truth together.